The attic was full of dust, memories, and silence until Ellie stepped inside. She was 10 years old, with a wild imagination and a favorite person in the whole world, Grandpa Wally. But now he was gone. 2 weeks had passed since the funeral, and everything still felt too quiet. Ellie wandered into Grandpa's old attic one rainy afternoon, hoping to find something, anything that smelled like him, sounded like him, felt like him. And there, in the farthest corner behind an old trunk and a leaning broom, she saw it, an empty wooden bookshelf. Just that. Empty, plain, but oddly warm to the touch. Huh, Ellie muttered, brushing her fingers across the shelf. Grandpa always said books were doorways. Suddenly, a soft hum echoed in the attic. The shelf shimmered faintly. Ellie blinked. What? She touched it again, and this time words appeared, glowing across the top. Only those who read with love may enter. Read with love? Ellie whispered. She sat down on the old rug beside the shelf and pulled out a dusty storybook from her backpack, The Wind in the Trees, her favorite book Grandpa used to read to her. Heart-pounding, she began to read aloud. As her voice carried through the attic, the bookshelf began to shimmer again softly, like moonlight over waves. The wood folded inward, glowing, and just like that, it opened. Not like a door, like a ripple in the air. A golden light poured through. Ellie stood up slowly, her book in one hand, and stepped through the invisible doorway. On the other side was magic. A glowing forest of floating bookshelves, staircases that spiraled into the sky, lanterns that hovered, warm wooden tables set for reading. And in the center of it all, sitting in a big leather chair by a crackling fire. Grandpa, Ellie gasped. Wally turned his head, smiling like he always had, soft eyes, a patient face, and a little laugh in his breath. Hello, my little sunflower. Ellie ran to him, and he opened his arms, just like always. She hugged him tightly, tears in her eyes. But you're, she choked. Gone? Grandpa Wally finished gently. Yes, in your world. But in this one, I'm part of something older, something made of stories and love. I don't understand, Ellie whispered. Grandpa patted the seat next to him. Let me explain, he pointed around the library. This place only appears to those who read with their heart. It's not made of bricks or nails. It's made of memory, of imagination, of the quiet way your heart listens when a story is read with love. Ellie looked around in wonder. So all of this was here before? Yes, Grandpa nodded. Every time I read to you, the shelves grew fuller. Every laugh you shared, every tear you held during a sad story, it gave the library life. Ellie's voice trembled. I thought I lost you. Grandpa touched her cheek. You never lose someone who's part of your story, Ellie. That's why this place exists, so we can still talk, even when the world outside says we can't. She looked at the books floating in the air. Each one had a soft glow. What's in them? She asked. Our stories, Grandpa said. Your first time riding a bike. The time you spilled orange juice on my crossword puzzle. The night we camped in the living room and pretended it was a rainforest. They're all here. Ellie's eyes sparkled. I remember that. We made firefly jars out of fairy lights. He chuckled. And you insisted marshmallows were a dinner food. Ellie laughed. They are. Grandpa picked a book from the shelf. It hovered in his hands. Want to read one together, for old time's sake? she nodded. As they read, the pages turned on their own, showing glowing memories, real and imagined, like little movies made of stardust. Ellie could see herself as a baby, giggling in Grandpa's lap. Then older, with muddy hands in the garden. Then, in her red raincoat, dancing in puddles while he watched from the porch. When they finished, the book closed gently. Tears shimmered in Ellie's eyes. "I miss you every day." "I miss you too," Grandpa said. "But I'll always be waiting here in the stories. All you have to do is read with love." The golden library began to dim. Ellie felt a soft tug, the kind that pulled dreamers back to the waking world. "It's time?" she asked. "For now," Grandpa said, rising from his chair. "You can always come back when you read from the heart." Ellie stood and hugged him tightly. "I love you, Grandpa." "And I love you, my little reader," he whispered. "Always." Back in the attic, the bookshelf stood still, but Ellie smiled through her tears. She knew the secret now. Not all goodbyes are forever. She placed the book back into her backpack and whispered,